Okay, let's see if I stay. Try this once again. All right. We're going to see how long I stay. Alrighty? Before it goes nuts. Mm-hmm. So I was having issues with my internet again. So I called. I was not a happy camper because I keep getting messages and it reads, your connection is unstable. Try reconnecting. Constantly. Every time I went live, I didn't cook. Matter of seconds, it was happening. So I spent the last probably half an hour, I imagine, on my Spectrum because this is what I have. I pay for 600 of Mbps. Well, I'm getting 664, so I'm getting 64 more than what I'm paying. But I was at 109%. Then I went to 111%. I don't get all that crap. But found something else out that oh, you can see me. Awesome. Found something else I didn't even know. Why don't they tell people this? That's what I don't understand. Okay. My box is set up to reboot every Wednesday at 12:30 Central Standard Time. Okay. And when it says your connection is unstable, try reconnecting, is that YouTube is trying to reconnect from like the last time my box reset. So like tomorrow, tomorrow's Wednesday. So tomorrow at 12:30 Central Standard Time, it's going to AM. It's at night. It's going to reboot. It might void this one, he said, because we just redid it. So it'll be next week. So if I go live, it's trying to connect before my box rebooted. I was like, what? Yep. He says, so sign out of your YouTube, sign back in so that YouTube can reconnect to the newest whatever happens with my box. Oh, I can't wait till I'm going to tell you straight up. I've never had this when I had AT&T. It's since they talked me into switching to Spectrum, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for switching. But I'm going to TDS, and guess what? I just got the notice from TDS in my mailbox last week that first week of May, they will start working and putting the fiber optics on my road. So by middle of June-ish, I should be on my TDS with fiber optics, and I won't have this crap at all. But I'm like, seriously? And I had two people talk to me. I had a woman talking. Well, I lost connection. I'm having a conversation. I literally lose connect. We lost on phone. I don't know if they accidentally hung up on me or my phone was sitting here, and the next thing I'm like, hello, nobody's there. So I called back, got this gal. I was telling her, she picked up where the guy left off, and she goes, I'm going to add so and so to the conversation. So she added this guy to the conversation. He had, and I'm very impatient because I don't like repeating the situation over and over. It's like, hello, please hold. And then you go to another person, you're like, okay, what's the problem? And you tell that person, and then they switch to this person. You have to go over and over again. I hate doing that. I can't stand that. So I'm like, oh. He says, so you're trying to get, he never even asked me. He says, so this gal that put me on hold, and she took my number. She goes, give me your number real quick. And I went 9262. And then she gave me her number. I said, I have a blocker on my phone. So if it doesn't recognize any calls in my contacts, you go right to voicemail. I said, because I get all these spam calls. My daughter set that up. So she gave me her desk number just in case we lost connection. I can see her number come up and answer it. I'm like, she goes, you can see the number, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I can see it. It doesn't ring through. She's like, okay. So did that. She put me on hold. Then she came back because she told me she was going to put me on hold to go to another person and get that person in our conversation. But she wanted to cover all that. Well, then this guy came back named Adam. And he says, so you're trying to go live on YouTube? And I'm like, yep. He says, and I keep saying your connection's unstable. Yep. I said, everybody always tells me it's not YouTube, that it's my internet. He goes, well, and he was really polite. He's like, it can be, but I think the solution is I need you to do this. And that's when he had me log out of YouTube, log out of Facebook, turn off my PC, turn everything back on, log back into YouTube, log back into Facebook, and we went live for 3 minutes with no problem. And I'm like, well, why did that? He goes, because the connection from the box to you, your connection when it reboots, it comes back up to whatever YouTube I was on. When I reboot, it still brings everything up. I'm not logged out. So, and I go, what? Explain that to me again, he goes, we just rebooted your box. Yep. You didn't even notice. I'm like, nope. You probably did it when you did it yourself, thinking that was a problem. You came right back in, waited the time frame that we always tell you to. Yep. Came back in, you were still on YouTube. Yep. And you tried to go live. Yep. It's the same thing, right? Yep. Yeah. He goes, because it's trying to reconnect to before you went. Yep. That's why my Facebook Messenger is weird sometimes too. Yep, because I had that problem yesterday. Yep. So yeah. So you know what, everybody? If you're always wondering what the hell's going on, log out of YouTube, log out of Facebook. Sometimes turn your equipment off and start it all back up. He told me if I have that message come back up, this one. Whoops, where is that? I wrote it down because I caught it. I think the first time when I went live, where I went live for half an hour, guys, and I'm thinking I'm live and nobody's watching and nobody's commenting. I'm seeing that I'm live. On my end, it's like saying live right now, 7 minutes and 45 seconds, 46, 47. That's doing that. And Sabrina's one that messaged me and says, Tina, you only went live like 6 seconds. And I'm like, what? So the connection, when it says your connection's unstable, trying to reconnect, especially just on YouTube. So I'm still sitting here live and I'm just talking to myself because I had nothing up to say. And Sabrina was sitting at Zach's school when I first messaged her. And she was like, it's spinning. So I guarantee, Sabrina, you probably could have watched me, but it was my whole internet. Oh, it's frustrating as hell, though. Because I have no patience for this stuff. At all. So, I logged out of everything. Signed back in everything. And now I'm live. And you can still hear me. I'm still live, hopefully, because I'm looking at myself over here. And I got my PC up over here, and I can see my hands waving. Yep. So I said to the guy, and then I said to him, I was telling Sabrina, I was talking about StreamYard. Remember how I did that with us in StreamYard? This is another thing, is he said to have your friend do the same thing on her end, log out of YouTube, log back in. That's why when we both, and I'll be like, we'll go out and see if it works, and we start hearing you talk, and sometimes I talk like a Martian and you talk like a Martian. Yeah, it's because of a connection. We each had, he says there's so much out there that it's like butting heads. Because I said it happened to me on StreamYard. It happens to me right now. I said I don't understand that. The delay is because of this slow internet speed. I said, my son hooked up my internet because my husband likes the game, which he hasn't had time to game. I said, this should be not happening to me. And he's like, no, it shouldn't be. And he's like, he was looking literally at and trying to figure out what the hell's going on my end. And that's when he goes, when's the last time you logged out of YouTube? I go, on my PC. He goes, yeah. I said, probably. I told him, I said, I think it's because of the draft. And he goes, what's the draft? He goes to me, what's the draft got to do with it? I said, because I'm like 4 blocks from Lambeau Field, and I tried to go live on Wednesday or Thursday, and it did the same thing. So I said, screw it. And I haven't been back in my room since, because I assumed because of all the damn satellites in my neck of the woods, that was causing interference. And he goes, no, that shouldn't happen. I go, but it always happens. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, doesn't matter. I said, yeah, I get the draft this here, but a Packer day I have interference too. And he goes, okay, hang on a second. Huh. So, well, I had 6 people. Ready for this one? 6 people. I didn't know these things. Did you guys know these things exist where they can override your Wi-Fi protection and still use your Wi-Fi? And I'm like, what? Because, yeah, you had 6 people. And he listed them. And he showed me how I could go on my own. I didn't even know this. So I had my Spectrum up where I can go in and see exactly who's using my Wi-Fi. And for some reason, Xavier's picking up my Wi-Fi in the middle of his backyard. So I'm going to, because it says Xavier. And he goes, it's listed as Xavier with the same last name. I go, that would be my son. And that's when he found out. I said, my son's in my backyard. I said, well, our backyards match. So Xavier, the more he gets toward his backyard, he's connecting into my Wi-Fi. So I have to tell him to shut my Wi-Fi down, because he's listening up in my Wi-Fi, which I don't think it matters. No big deal, anyways. But yeah, I can see where it's Sam's name, Diamond's name, Coda's name, Riley's name, and Allie's name. I was like, oh my god! And then it had this weird number. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And he goes, that is somebody that has this mechanism that can override your security and Wi-Fi. It's like kind of like a hotspot. I said, but I have it protected. He goes, yeah, I know. But there's a gadgets they can use. So I said, how close is this? Guess what? It's my Airbnb across the street. Yep. So I checked with Jackie, my neighbor. She just looked hers up. So Jackie, Kat, and I just checked. And when Travis gets home, I'm going to go next door to Travis, who is actually next door to the Airbnb, and ask him to look on his to see if he's getting the same 2 numbers. That means the Airbnb has the mechanism in their residence, in that Airbnb, ain't paying for Wi-Fi. They bought this override thing for hotspots. I'm like, holy shit. I would never have known that. Yep. He says it's like a box. So they picking up the broadbands or whatever. It could be anybody's with this whatever. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, he goes, it's not very good internet, but it will. I'm like, oh, yep. As soon as he told me, I'm like, where on 13th? And he goes, and then he says it's a corner house in White, because he Googled it. He couldn't tell me the address. All he could do, it was funny. He told me, I'm like, oh, I know where that is. I know exactly what that is. I said, that's the Airbnb. He goes, yeah, it's only on so many days this weekend. He goes, Wednesday till Sunday, he goes, was steady. So Jackie looked at hers, and hers too was steady. So it means that they're boom, boom, boom. Oh, wait till I contact that company. Yep. So they're paying for Wi-Fi and that. They bought this override thing. I'm like, why do you have? I said, then why do I have a password for my Wi-Fi if it doesn't work? He goes, we're trying to get a new thing out there. Now, I guarantee fiber optic firing when I, because TDS, I'll have that at, like I said, by the end of the summer. I'm hoping it's June. It's June because I've waited over a year. But this is the page I did when I was talking to him. I redid that whole page because I didn't like it. Because I started out doing a live video on this page and I was talking about how I didn't like it, so I redid it. This is my composition notebook where I just do, this is page like back here. See? Some pages I haven't even glued yet because this book, see, I got pages. I never really glued my pages like in my other book. On this one, I wasn't gluing them. You can tell because they're ripping. But see, this is the book that I don't care if it rips because it'll eventually be ripped out to put it on my art journal. But I can show you what I have been doing this past week. Recovering, and I feel how much better. So I got, okay, you know, I got a new, look at, I got a new mouse pad, which I'm being very careful because I do not want to get paint on it. Diamond made me buy a new mouse pad. Okay, so I went to BMO's auction, bought a couple Smash books, so I started that this couple week or so ago. So I got birthday and the receipt from BMO in this thing that she sent me. And receipts from going out to eat. Almost. And then kitchen sprayer. And this is the new flooring. I put, look at, that's my flooring. I had Scott cut me on a little piece of chunk. I put it in there. Put the box in there. And then I've made a pocket here. I found this downstairs going through Dad's stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. It's from Mark Green, 8th District of Wisconsin. And I'm always finding old letters. And it's a letter to my father-in-law dated July 12th, 2005. Thank you for contacting me with your support to HR 800, Protection of Lawful Commencement Arms Act. So I thought it was kind of cool. So I kept it. And I also found, ready for this one? This amazes me with older people. I don't know if it's just older people or just, and I put a note in there. So I bought a gift card from Amazon in between 2 books with a receipt. Matter of fact, I have it somewhere. I don't know where I did. Oh, it's right here. I got put this way. So this is how I got it. From 2023, my father-in-law got a cappuccino, an egg roll, and a $200 Prime gift card. They say it's inactive. And it scratched off, so but it wasn't registered, is what, and it wasn't used, so we got $200. And I haven't used it. I haven't spent it yet because I don't know what I need on Amazon. It's a credit. And then this is some Harley Davidson stuff. And of course the draft. Did that in this is my Smash book. But I went to Five Below with Diamond right before Easter and I bought this. Because you all know I do those family books every year. And I thought, well, I'm going to buy this one and see if this one works. So guess what? Ready? Ba-doom! And I always write while I do them. Paper's really good. I'm thinking about going back to get a couple of these for art journal. Pretty okay paper. So, and I start every year off with something. It starts, and this year was Diamond. She was the most exciting news the first of the year. She got her job at Oneida Reservation of Social Service. And then this is funny because Diamond did, I don't know why she was looking up at Google Maps, her address, but none of the vehicles in her driveway they own anymore. But what she thought was funny is you look in the window where the heart is, that's Athena. That's Diamond's puppy that passed away last summer. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I kept it. I put it in here so she has it in here forever. And then Coda Bear asked me, Nana, can I borrow your? I call this my rummage sale cart. If we go like on rummage sales that are a block long, I grab that and that's what I use. My mom bought me that for Christmas one year because I lived next a few blocks from a grocery store, and I'd go to the grocery store and I'd haul my bags in the kids' wagon. So she thought it was a good idea to get me with that for Christmas. I've used it more for rummage sales. But Coda was bring your backpack, any backpack to school day. So he wanted to bring my cart, so that's what he did. He borrowed it. I had to get it out of my shed. In the middle, it was cold when I got it out. But, yep, so that's Coda. Yep, bring your back. Yeah, anything but a backpack day. That's what it was called. So that was his backpack. And this is Riley at the winter or powwow. This is Allie in her snowball. So pretty. That's a pretty dress she wore. It was Leah's because the dress she picked out didn't come in. So Leah let her borrow a dress she still had. And then Xavier at Diamonds. And then Diamond, Allie, and Diamond's best friends, Savannah, they all went and got their nails done. And then we had the outhouse race. And then at Esports State 2025, Allie played, and I guess it's gaming. And they placed third overall in the state of Wisconsin. I didn't think that was bad for the whole state. I didn't know they did that, but yep, they do that. And I said, "What is this?" It's because they all got to ride in a fire truck to different schools. Because I said, "There's a picture right here. It says Black Creek Elementary Middle School." I said to Allie, why were you at Black Creek? You go to Seymour. I could see Seymour Middle School. She goes, "Oh no, we go to all of the schools for a pep rally." So they got to ride it in a fire truck. That's them sitting in the fire truck. I'll bring this down. That's them sitting in the fire truck. I'll seatbelted in the fire truck to go to Black Creek Middle School to walk the hallways and have the kids support them because they're going to state. I'm like, interesting. And then Diamond at their tattoo for Athena. And there's some of the dogs because they had Athena cremated. And in the little palm part, look at my hands from painting. There is some of Athena's ashes, and that is holly because Athena was born in December, so she got the holly and flower, and then on her foot, so Athena's always walking with her. This is a diamond in what the heck did they call this? They have to present social work professional programs. They were like having a presentation for school, and people could watch it, so I watched it. So I put that in there. It's how I spend my birthday, everybody. Except on this day, and me and Diamond, for some reason, we always take a picture. Diamond took me out to dinner for my birthday on the 4th, and then they picked up to go get her tattoo. A friend of Diamond's best friend's dad's a tattooist, so he did it for Diamond and in his house, not his house, because he's got a partner. So he brought all his equipment home and did it for her. And I thought that was funny. So this is the celebration of me and Scott and Riley and me's birthday because all three of us are born in March. We pick a date in the middle of the March, and we all go to this Rustique Inn, which was an old church, and they have awesome pizza. I love their fries. This is Allie's new look. Look at her hair was about there, and she got it cut. And then this is Riley's birthday, and her birthday party. And I went to her birthday party. This is after the morning of after we went to Mac Max, which is like macaroni and cheese. And I had Diamond. I was stopped feeling good. I was still sick, but I wasn't going to miss her birthday. I told Diamond I wore a mask. I even sat away from everybody at a table so that nobody else could get sick. But I was going to be there for her little birthday party. And I got her like there's one of the presents I got her, and then I have to get a picture with the journal that Sabrina made. That's Taylor Swift. It's gorgeous. For some reason, I wasn't there when Allie was taking pictures. She did a video, but she didn't take a picture because Sabrina. I sent Sabrina the video of Riley opening it, but we didn't get a picture of it. But that's Diamond's best friend, Savannah. I don't know. Oh, right here. If you look up here, it's hard to see. That's Riley. She's sitting next to a record player. She got her earphones on. Savannah bought her a record player in a Taylor Swift album, and it was so funny. She's like, "What is this?" She had no idea. It was a record. It was so funny. So she got a record player in her. And this is Diamond getting accepted to the master's program. Diamond graduates next month. Oh my God. In 2 days. It will be May. Let me see something. I gotta check something now that I said that. Hang on. Whoo boy. I gotta. Ooh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. Is it this Friday? Diamond's pin ceremony. Okay. 9th. Diamond graduates the 17th. But Diamond has a pin ceremony, and she picked me to put the pin on her. And I thought it was this Friday. Nope. It's next Friday. Okay. Whew. Okay. So Diamond was technically going to be done with school on the 17th. Graduated, done. Already got a job. Except she got accepted full scholarship in the master's program. So she was all excited. This is Riley's legit birthday party with her friends. And then Coda Bear went and got a haircut on me. He had this shaggy perm look, but it was getting... So this is him before, and this is him after. What a difference. And then... Oh, this is Savannah, Diamond, and Allie's date night, I guess. And they went to a painting class. And then Sam, Sausalito, Diamond, and Savannah all went and saw Papa Roach rise against it under whatever Roth. I don't know. Did that. And then we got Coda Soccer. And then we got Diamond Sash Ceremony, where you went to the UWGB is where Diamond went at University of Wisconsin Green Bay. And they had this little party dinner, like all hors d'oeuvres, and she got her sash and her ties, whatever the hell you call them. And I got to go with her. And they were giving them out, so I stapled it in there. Then me and Scott went on our first ride. Always have to get that way to check the tires. And then it was Easter. That's the morning at Easter Bunny at Diamond. And then it's the Easter hunt at my house. And then I took pictures of my kids. That's Diamond and Xavier. And then Sam and Diamond. Chantel and Diamond. And then all 4 of them. And then Riley got this little camera. Look at Sam's face. I had to put this in here. I didn't realize it when I took a picture. How the face he was making. So Riley got this little camera. It's just little. Well, she got birthday money, and she bought this little camera. And it takes these little black and whites. Diamond said, I guess there's colored too you can put in there. So she was taking all these pictures all day at Easter. And she was like, here, Nana, put them in your book. So they're in my book. Funny. I like how she took a rabbit down and took a picture. Yeah. It takes some nice little black and white pictures. System moved. Oh, and it also has this thing where you can put little things like this. Had a witch's hat. You can do something or another. So she's got witches hats. That's Xavier, by the way. That's Chantel, Diamond. This one's a little blurry. So it's kind of cool. I thought it was funny. And then here we go. The draft. So that's my foster son Tim. He went to the draft. When did they go? Friday? Yeah, Friday. He was there. He was at my house at 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock, parking in my driveway to go up there and wait until like I think it was like 2 o'clock before they opened the gate. I don't know what the hell you do, but and the line was huge. Look at all those people right there. Yeah, that's just nuts to me. So 205,000 entered the gate on Friday or on Thursday, the initial day. And then less on Friday because it was raining. Total of 600,000 people just in the grounds of Lambeau Field, okay? That's just here, just in the parking lot of Lambeau Field. It was 600,000 people. But what they didn't count is the kids. Because when you registered, Diamond told me when you registered for your little thing like this, I'll show you what I had. I don't know if I didn't go. I was going to, and then I changed my mind. Okay. Probably won't load anymore. It's probably not there. Yep. Oh, now it's. What the hell did I hit? Oh, now it's just telling me. Thank you for attending. But it gave you that little black and white box code thing. I don't know what the hell they called. That's what you had, and when you walked up to the gate, they were supposed to scan that. Diamond says she didn't. When she got up there with her phone, they didn't do nothing. But Diamond said when she had to register, you registered how many adults and how many, or herself and how many kids. So they didn't account the kids. Diamond said there was easily over 300,000 when she went. She goes, they didn't count me. They didn't count Sam. They didn't count the kids. They didn't count. Everybody was talking like, how did they know the exact number? Unless they're going by the registration. But how do they actually know if they aren't scanning like on Thursday? So they didn't scan Diamond's phone. They didn't scan Sam's phone. They weren't scanning anybody behind them. So they can't come up with the exact number, and they didn't count the kids. But just in the parking lot, according to them, on the 3 days of 600,000 people, except they didn't include the people at Titletown that were watching it on the live on the bit in the park across the street. They didn't count be on the street they closed off that were watching it too. I guarantee there was over 700,000 people in Green Bay. Easily. When I should have took a picture. When I went for a walk, I was looking, I went to my walk to the Quick Trip that's on Lombardi Ave. That's not far from me. And I went around the block, went one way and came back the other. And when I was looking down Lombardi Ave toward Lambeau Field, all it was on Lombardi Ave where they had it closed off was a sea of people. All you saw was people walking. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm not going in that. And I went home. And then they had security check. And I'm like, dude, they had 14th cut off. I live between 14th and 12th. And I said to the guy, he goes, can I see, where are you going? Security check. He goes, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going home. Where do you live? 943 Victory Boulevard. I like to go home. Didn't know I couldn't walk my neighborhood anymore. I do this every morning. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm thinking, why do you have 14th cut off? Well, we're only letting residentials in here. I said, so if somebody comes down this far and they're not from this neighborhood, you ain't letting them, how are they getting out? You're making them reverse? Oh, no, we tell them go up to your road. I'm like, then why are you? I just looked at the guy. We're just making sure. I said, that don't make no sense. If they come down this far and they can't go all the way down Lombardi Avenue, I get it. But why are you still checking where they're going? It made no sense to me. $17 a beer, $10 a soda. Yep, a bottled soda, $10. I told Diamond what the Diamond said it was not that difference than a game. I don't go to Packer games. She said it was like a $3 difference from a normal Packer game. Or any I guess that's average for any NFL game is like $10 a beer. That's crazy. So this is just pictures. They took Coda and his best friend. So and then Diamond's other friend they hooked up with and that. So that was the last thing I put in my book. Oh, nope, that is wrong. That's right. I forgot. Me and Scott went for a ride on Sunday. We went to Wikiak Fall. This year it actually was running because I went here last year, I believe, and the fall wasn't running. So there it is. Isn't it pretty? Yep. And they have a bridge where you can put your lock on. And then they cut them off at the end of the year. So me and Scott's lock went in. I didn't bring it last year. It's a donation. You bring your own lock, put a buck in a thing. So we did it. So you had to bring your own lock and donate $1. I wonder how many people don't actually donate $1. Well, I donated $1. And then it was funny because there was a heart balloon in the tree. But that's what me and Scott did. I laugh because we bought our ears were so cold. It was chilly, but it was a nice ride, except your ears got cold. So we bought these masks last year. I put mine on. I told Scott I'm gonna scare kids. Look at me. Except I was just messing with it. I got it. Scott helped me straighten out where my goggles actually matched the black spots. But I'm like, I'm gonna scare children away. Either way, I said to Scott, I wish he would have did his, because his is orange. Like, but hey, my ears didn't get cold on the way home, because we were about 30 minutes out of town. Yeah, I do now wear goggles instead of sunglasses, because last year I lost 2 pairs of sunglasses going down the highway. So I bought goggles. Lucky I had extra sunglasses on me, or we'd have probably had to stop at a gas station. So now I got goggles. I actually got 3 pair of goggles. I got these are glass ones, and then I have ones that are orange or night, and then I have sunglasses that aren't the glass. Like we're going this Sunday because it's gonna be 75 degrees this Sunday. And I looked at Scott, I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. I said, what time are we leaving? And he goes, where do we want to go? So we're going to pick a spot and go. And be gone all day. That's what we do. We get things done on Saturday. And then we're gone on Sunday. And the kids don't even ask. Because we're gone. So I'm glad I was able to stay alive for 38 minutes because I'm just looking over at my PC, my laptop, and I can still see. And I just want to delay. So, and I got a new mouse pad. Looks just like my Van Gogh Starry Night. I love that. Diamond said I needed to get a new mouse pad. She's like, Mom, your mouse sucks. So she threw the mouse pad and she goes, it's your mouse pad, not your mouse. So I got a new mouse pad. Except now I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to get paint all over that. The other one has so much paint on it, it's ridiculous. But now that I know this works, now I know that what's happening. And I'm feeling a lot better. Sabrina and I are hopefully going to be going live again next Monday. Or maybe I'll talk to her and see maybe we can do something on Thursday, even if it's not our regular Thursday stuff we planned on. Maybe we can just go live and craft or whatever. See what she's doing. And then next week get back into the regular routine of doing our mixed media and delusional. Oh, I forgot what we named it. It's been that long. I can't believe how long I've been off YouTube. Like I said, I've been really sick. As you can still hear it somewhat in my in my voice a little bit, but it was much better. So I bought something, or I should say, my hubby bought me something for me birthday because he asked me what I wanted, and I never knew it existed. And until it came up last week on the Chocos. And I'm like, what? So, Chocos had this giveaway. If you bought $50 worth of stuff, you could possibly win a book by Diane Riley, The Art of Diane Riley book. Right there. I never knew that existed. It's been out since 2017. And I'm like, I want that in my life. So I told Scott, this is what I want for my birthday. Well, it was actually on sale through Ranger, so it's coming. I can't wait. It should be here probably by the end of the week. I can't wait to see it. I never knew that existed, so I was all excited. I know she's redoing her one book I have, so I'll probably end up buying that. But that was my birthday present from my husband because I couldn't make up my mind what I exactly wanted early. So my birthday was the 7th of March. So that's what I got. It'll be here sometime, like I said, the end of the week. I imagine. It's coming from UPS. It left New Jersey on Monday. So I'm thinking by the end of the week I should have it. But I'm so glad that I'm staying live. Like I said, I never knew that. Why don't they tell people that when you call? When I called, makes me wonder the last time I had this issue, if that was the issue, you know? But I guess it took the right person to talk to me. So now, everybody, if you have this issue where it's buffering and buffering, and you're like, what the heck? Log out of YouTube, log back in. It's some broadband, something. It's all those big tech words. Like I said to the guy, I said, you know what? If I knew Elon Musk, I said, and I know nobody likes him right now, but I guarantee he could fix this for me. And they started laughing. Oh my God, Sabrina. I don't know if you're still here. I looked for 2 days. When I messaged Sabrina, it was so funny. I messaged Sabrina technically on Saturday, thinking it's Sunday, saying, "Okay, are we still going live on Monday?" I said, "Oh, are we still going live tomorrow? And what time are we going?" She messaged me back and says, "No," and I'm like, "Oh, because today is Saturday, not Sunday. So tomorrow's Sunday, Tina." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I lost a day." So what I didn't tell her is I spent Saturday looking for my Mixmedia cards. Couldn't find them. And I'm like, I don't know what I put these cards. And Scott, I was like in my whole craft room looking and looking and looking. I'm like, I don't know. She sent me this cool little Rubbermaid to put my cards in. Where did I put it? So I sit down after I'm looking for this, the shelf here on my table, on my shelf. I have this little white cart next to me. It used to be my delusion shelf, which still has some delusion stuff in it, but not my stamps anymore. So I have my art journals in it, and I have some delusion stamps, clear ones, and I have my laptop sitting in this. And I also have the jar to pick the stamps me and Sabrina are going to do. So after looking, and I'm like, I don't know where they are. I give up. I'm like, I'll come back to it later. So I sit back here and I'm thinking, where would I put this? It's not in the spot it should be at, where I would think they should be. And I look over and I turn my head. It's on my shelf with the little jar with the stamps in it, because these are all numbered. All my stamps are numbered. And there it is. That's how I spent Saturday, preparing, thinking it's Sunday, and I have to find this for Monday. Only to realize from Sabrina when I messaged her that it was Saturday, not Sunday. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. I was thinking to myself, God, I have one more. And I don't know why or how I lost a day. I think because of the draft. The only time my street has this much damn cars parked on it is if there's a game. So when my Saturday came, still parking it, threw me. I think the whole week threw me. When I woke up Thursday morning to take my little walk at 7 o'clock, I was outside by 7:30. There were cars and people already walking up to Lambeau Field. And I said to the guy, "What are you gonna do?" He goes, "We bought it. They brought a deck of cards. They're gonna play cards." I'm like, "Where are you gonna put the cards on?" He goes, "They got these big cement pillars to put people in." And he goes, "We're hoping to be there early enough." He goes, "And we're gonna play cards." I'm like, "Oh my God, that's insane." Cause they didn't open till 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock. They weren't letting people into the field, Lambeau Field. So people were lined up that early on Thursday to get in there. And I watched the draft because I never really paid any attention. I'm like, what's the big hoopla? So I turned it on and I'm watching it and I said to Scott, is this all they do? Because, yep. I said, so he comes out, rattles some football player's name off. They give him a hat and a mirror. He looks to make sure it's on good, looks good. Does their little swag, comes out. The guy hugs him, gives him a jersey with his name on with the number 1, and that's it. And he goes, pretty much, yeah. He goes, after they bicker to see what team he's going to go to, which is off camera. He says, and then it went to over, and you could see some like office with a whole bunch of people around a table with phones in their ears. He goes, that's the team that's arguing, probably debating with his handlers or whatever, he says. And then his guy is talking to him, and they're like, yep, that one's giving me more money. We'll go with them. I'm like, oh. And he goes, and it all depends on their picks, too. I didn't get it. I still don't get it. I still don't understand it. But I thought it was crazy. I said, if people are excited about that, yep. I said, that's why we got this in our city. Yep. I said, that's why we're going in debt. Yep. Because we taxpayers foot the bill for security on this. I'm like, oh. So that's why I can't get this. Usually every year you can sign up to get a free rain barrel to save rain. And they do a lottery. Saber got it last year. So I went to sign up. They don't have it this year. So I called and asked why. They said because of the draft, they couldn't afford to buy the rain barrels. I'm like, well, I didn't want that. I didn't have a choice in that vote. I'm like, so why is that? Yeah. Or what was it? Another thing that we are not doing because we had to went in the funds to pay for extra security for the draft. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is the city of Green Bay paying that? Explain that to me. I'd like to know that one. I don't know. I don't understand that one. Yeah. I wasn't aware of that. I don't think a lot of people were aware of that. As I thought the NFL covered everything. Nope. I guess it's kind of like when you have the Olympics. It's how somebody described it. When the city hosts the Olympics, it's usually the city that pays for it. It's kind of like that with the NFL. Having a draft in your city. I'm like, oh, okay. But businesses made money. Some businesses. A lot of businesses are upset because how they closed down Lombardi Ave, Oneida Ave. It went like this: Oneida Ave, Lombardi Ave, Ridge Ave, and there's businesses on both roads that were closed down, and you couldn't get to the businesses. And they were in the middle of March. They started closing these roads down to build this big stage. These businesses lost money since they rerouted everything around. So yeah, was it a plus? Maybe for hotels. maybe other restaurants, but to local businesses prior to that this past week, probably not, because it was a big write up in our local paper. How a guy lost a lot of money because they closed Ridge from his restaurant and his customers couldn't get to it. I didn't think that was right. I said if they wanted did that, they should have at least had some way that people could get into his restaurants. I didn't realize it because we don't eat there. Yeah, because they blocked off both ways. Yeah, I'm like that wasn't right. Yep. I said they could have at least left one open while before the draft, but yeah, I'm like oh. So it's gonna be. I can't wait. I told Scott it's gonna be interesting to see the numbers come out financially, the loss or the gain. And I said we'll see next year on our taxes because we ended up hiring extra security. See, what people don't realize at Lambeau Field, we as citizens of Green Bay pay for the security up there. Any NFL does not. They had a big argument this year because NFL wanted to take that over, but Green Bay, our mayor of Green Bay, wouldn't let them do it because we'd lose so much say over Green Bay, Lombardi, Lambeau Field. Oh, big deal to me. I hate that place because it costs me money. So, and they leased that. NFL leases Lambeau Field from the Green Bay Packers. But Green Bay, I don't know how that went. Whatever, how it went. No, the Green Bay Packers leased from the city of Green Bay to play there. So the Packers could get up. The thing is, the Packers could leave, but they can't use the Packer name or the stadium. I have to find how they're read, but I did find out what I understood is we pay for garbage pickup, we pay for the police officers and security on game days up there. Okay, so they pay for street cleanup, all that. Green Bay pays. We do as homeowners. Every time you spend a dime in Green Bay, a percentage goes up there. That's how it works. So, due to the fact we had the draft here we go again. We paid for garbage pickup. We paid for street cleanup. We paid for security. Where's that money come from? My tax dollars. Everybody's tax dollars. But what we heard, and my understanding, is there wasn't enough money to cover the whole year for all the games that are coming here this upcoming football season after the draft. Because they had security already up there since they started putting up the stage and putting up the TV screens and all this. And they also had officers come from out of town. So we paid for those officers. So it's going to be interesting to see the numbers. And of course, our sanitation crews that go in and clean up all that mess, and the people that sweep that and clean that up and pick up and porta potties, because all that, which was triple porta potties than usual because they had them all over a radius around Lambeau Field. Was porta potties that? Yeah, but weren't probably would be all the time. And we paid that. We paid that for something I was not really interested in. Didn't bring me no revenue. It cost me revenue. Is what we basically are being told. NFL paid only for this. When I said, well, what the hell does the NFL pay? They paid for the stage and the lighting, but they didn't pay for the guys to put it up. That's my understanding, how the article read. So they provided the stage, the lighting, the big TV screens, but we had to cover the people putting them up. I was like, so I said, well, maybe this year we shouldn't pay millions of dollars for people to throw a ball across the stadium. Save a couple money, put it back in the community, cover that cost on that one. Or ticket sale price. We shouldn't, I said that's After I said that shouldn't cost us when they charge as much for a ticket or beer. $17. I think personally that we should have got, and I don't know if we don't, I don't know how this works. There's a big meeting they're having in a couple weeks to explain this all because it came out right before this, right before the draft. They didn't tell us any of this before the draft or when they chose to bid for the draft. And I don't know how much it cost for us to, that was nothing. They bid to get the draft, but I don't know the cost that they paid to have the draft come here. I don't know. But people weren't aware that it was going to cost us money to host the draft. Okay. So they're having a big meeting because it came out in a paper days before this big hoopla, how much it's costing Green Bay citizens. And a lot of people aren't happy. You know? So, and I said, you pay $17 concession for all these people buying beer at concession stands at $17 a beer. Are we getting a percentage of these concessions sales? Or is it all going to Bud Light? Because that's who was there. Diamond said you couldn't buy a Miller Lite. It was all Bud Light or Budweiser. It was nothing else being sold. And Pepsi and Mountain Dew. That's all that was being sold. So I said, are we getting a percentage of that? Of that sale on and food vendors. Food, and this is the thing, there's some law that you can't sell. Like if I want to sell Packer merchandise or anything, I can't sell it on so many radius from Lambeau Field. They have to be across the street. But they had people selling in there this year. And I'm like, did they have to pay for a spot? And they had food vendors all over, inside and out. And it said, did they pay for that spot or what? And that's what people want to know. Because I don't think it's, and I'm like, if you rent a spot to do a craft fair, you have to pay. So does a food, and that's what I like. I said, they should have had when they decided to do this should have came down to a vote with the citizens of Green Bay, and we didn't get a say. It just happened, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was on the news. That's how I found out. I'm like, nobody knew the draft was coming until they announced it. The news pick for the draft for 2025 is Green Bay, Wisconsin. We were like, what? That's how it happened. But they didn't have the numbers for all the people that lived here. How much this... And then I'm thinking to myself, and I mean, I'm probably sound bitchy, because I am upset. My road, I said, I found this out because our buddy, there's a road here in Green Bay. My foster son lived on, and his landlord raised his rent because they decided to tear his road up and redo his road. And he had to pay so much extra from one section of his lot. And I never knew that happened. I'm like, what the hell property taxes go for? That he had to get a mortgage or loan, or you could take a loan through the city at such a percentage, and they'd add it to your taxes for so many years. And I never knew that happened. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. I never knew that. So I made a comment. I said, do we get a discount? Because the Packers have not enough. Okay. Lambeau Field's losing their parking because they keep building in Lambeau Field. They keep adding, the parking lot's getting smaller and smaller. So cars park in the neighborhoods. So my philosophy is, if my road has to be fixed, do I get a discount because technically they're parking on my road during Packer games? And I got go, and everybody's like, we're all a bunch of us standing out there during the draft. You couldn't leave out of my neighborhood. I had extra traffic on my road because Lombardi Ave was closed down. If you don't live in this area and you know the little ins and outs, you're stuck. Because it was such parking on both sides, streets blocked off. It was crazy. And everybody's like, good point. I said, Shouldn't we get a discount because there's more on our street than would normally be? And we're going, and we all decided this as a neighborhood around here because it's it's so tight when they're parking on both sides of the street during a Packer game that we're signing a petition that we want only one side parking during games because it's such a cluster. And they said we needed so many signatures. So I guess the lady's still doing it. I don't know if it went through because there was both parking on this side, but that means they'll have to put signs up. What really got me is all Green Bay had out full parking. Ashwaubenon, the other side, had temporary parking, no parking, police order. I told Scott I was going to steal a sign. Temporary no parking of Ashwaubenon Police Department. So they had no parking 4 blocks past the other side of Lambeau Field where everything was on Green Bay side. Crazy. Yep. If I would have been up to it, I should have went and did the video. But yeah, like I said, looking down Lombardi Ave on Thursday, and when I took my morning walk, it was just a sea of people. It looked like a marathon. Is the best way I could describe it. Like everybody's lined up to take off for a marathon. All you saw was heads, except some had cheese heads on. And the whole road. I was like, oh my God, where are these people going? Why so early? Because I was walking at 7:30 in the morning. Because I get up early enough. If I get up early enough, I go get Scott his cup of coffee at Quick Trip for him, and then I come home and I give it to him, and he'd be like, "Thank you. You were up early." Yep, I went and got your coffee. But now that I could stay alive, and I'm done. But yeah, that was the excitement of having a draft in Green Bay. Yay! Can you tell I'm not a big football fan? I could care less. If they moved, I'd be happy. I'd be like, yeah! Because the thing is this percentage extra tax that's on Green Bay residents was only supposed to be for 10 years. It's now 22 years. And they keep finding a reason to keep it. And we have no say. And somebody told me that. I remember when that was voted on, somebody says, oh, that'll never go away. Well, they were right. It's like we're redoing the locker room for, this is a new one. This is where now they have to show what they're using the money for. And we don't get a say in it. It's all voted on by a committee. New locker rooms for away teams. So we got new locker rooms last year or 2 years ago for the Packer players. And now we're redoing a new locker room with a weight room for players that come in to play the game. And I can't remember how much that's going to cost. So I said, and see, I'm a smartass. I went to a meeting. I go to these meetings because I live that close. So I go to them and I held my hand up and they're like, yes. I said, so you're redoing the locker room for players that come in for games, like the opposing team. Yep. I said, so we're redoing the locker room, redoing the showers. Yep. And redoing the weight room. Yep. I said, is there a weight room already there? And they're like, yeah. I said, are we going to be reusing the weight equipment? They didn't know how to answer me. I said, because what's wrong with the weight equipment? Do they need new weight equipment that's only going to be touched when a team comes in, every other weekend? Why do we need new weight equipment? Can't we store that, redo the weight room, bring the weight equipment that's already there being used? They didn't know. My Uncle Randy goes, God, that was a good one. I said, exactly. So what are they going to trash this old weight equipment for a bunch of guys? For what? Guys, you're going to tell. I said, I don't get it. Quit wasting my money. That's what I said to the guy. Quit wasting my money. What's wrong with the weight room for opposing teams now? Well, it needs to be updated. I said, what? Because The handle in the shower isn't as fancy with a G on it that's not colored. What's it look like? Can we see it? They wouldn't let us go see the opposing team's locker room. Yep, that's the newest thing. I'm like, because I said I do. Yeah, there was a lot of people against that. You know, Randy goes, leave it to you. I'm like, well, what are they going to do? And then I said, if you're not going to use, say you're going to buy new equipment, weightlifting equipment for the opposing team to use when they come into town, what are you going to do with the old equipment? Are you going to sell it or are you going to donate it to like Boys and Girls Club? What are you going to do with it? They had no answers for any of that. I said, then I don't get it. And everybody's like, yeah, what are you going to do with it? Can we buy the old emblems? Because I said, anything with the G on. Are you going to sell any of that or are you just going to throw it in a dumpster and end it up in a landfill? Are you going to reuse the wooden lockers? Because they're cubbies. What's wrong with them? Are you going to reuse the cubbies? Take them on and reuse them. There's nothing wrong with just an excuse to use money. Because they don't. The thing is they want to give a rebate. People want a rebate back, but I said there's something funky up there. I don't think they have our money because they were supposed to give us a rebate. They keep building, they keep spending it, but they were supposed to give us a discount on property taxes, a Packer discount the last couple of years. They've had a reasoning not to. So I said people are they're not happy with their reasonings to rebuild. First they put a Johnsonville, and this is what kills me. I said, why is it getting it's a bar in Lambeau Field, okay? That's only open during Packer games. Not even away games. It's closed. There's nobody in it. But the lights are on all the time when it's nobody there. And it says Johnsonville's Tailgate Bar. Okay? And I was thinking when I see this is the way my mind works. If this is Johnsonville Tailgate Bar, you know, then why did I said we paid for it to be built in the parking lot. Our taxes paid for that to be built in that parking lot, but it's got Johnsonville Tailgate Bar. It should say, and I'm a biggie at this because not one entrance to Lambeau Field to go in that field does it say Green Bay Citizen entrance. And a lot of people want that. We have businesses, but we don't have Green Bay Citizens entrance. Well, Gate A, Green Bay Citizen. We have Oneida Tribal. This one, nothing against Oneida because they do give good money for Lambeau Field. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Fleet Farm was one of them, sponsored by Fleet Farm. It used to be Shaco, but Shaco doesn't exist anymore. And I'm like, where's the resident of Green Bay's entrance? We should have the main one. Big doors, atrium, Green Bay, residents of Green Bay entrance. Thank you for your support. Nope, nothing. So I told the guy sitting next to me, I want the bar named after us, and we should all get free drinks. He goes, I can agree to that one. I forgot I totaled up just in property taxes for Scott's dad. Since they passed that, I added that up. I wish I had kept that. It was in the thousands, almost 10 and 12. I think it was $18,000 dad's paid to that. I think that was in 92 they did that. Yeah, he paid this year. I paid $1,200 to Lambeau Field, which doesn't seem like a lot. Okay, $1,200 to Lambeau Field on my property taxes. If they took that out, my property taxes would have only been $2,000. My property taxes were 2,000. Okay. Property tax was $3,900. 1,000 of that went to Lambeau Field. My property taxes has gone up big time. Oh, no, 3,600. I'd have to go look, but I do know I paid. No, there's a $3,639.77. Yeah, that was my taxes because I just paid the last installment today. Matter of fact. Oh, I really want to go there. So, ready for this one, guys? I never knew this. So, we could pay our taxes installment. Me and Scott paid the first installment. Now we paid the second installment. Matter of fact, we're ahead of time because we put away what we would pay for rent in our savings. Except with me having my hand surgery, we put a lot on my medical bills. So we, but we could pay every first installment. It's I think the 31st of January. The next one is July. So we had till July. But we had the money enough to pay it. So Scott's like, pay it. I'm like, okay, I'll go pay it. I go online. And I'm bringing it up because Scott would just go down, get a cashier's check at the bank, and then go downtown and pay it. I thought I told him, I said, I can pay this online. I said to him, he's like, okay. So I go to do it. And yesterday he wouldn't let me do it. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. So I went back on this morning and I'm redoing it. Well, this is where I screwed up. It's so stupid how they had it. It's like house address and then it says street address. So I put it in there and it kept saying not valid. I'm like, what the hell? And then I reread it. And then it said initials for like instead of street, your street. I put like my street, Victory Boulevard. I put that all in a street. No, it was supposed to be Victory and then down below Boulevard. As soon as I changed that, boom, it came up. So they asked me how I was paying. Debit card. Did that. Blah, blah, blah. Checkout. It was weird because I thought, I'm like, this is how they have this? I literally bring to cart, click cart, and come up. How you paying? Debit. And then I went to like everything. And then it said $49.99. And I'm like, what the hell's the $49.99? Because here's my taxes and here convenience fee. 3% of my income taxes. $49.99 for me to pay it online. I'm like, oh hell no. I clicked right out of that and told Scott, go to the bank, we could buy a cashier's check for $1. He can take it down on the Harley. So that's what he did. He went to the bank, got a cashier's check for the amount we owed him, drove down on his Harley, walked in and paid it through the mailbox in the little envelope they gave me. Didn't cost me no extra money. I'm like, what the hell are you doing with my $49.99 convenience to pay it online? I want to know where that goes. What's that extra money for? And I said, I'm a biggie. I said to Scott, we should have to pay that extra $49.99 for convenience fee after we help pay to keep the Packers in green and gold. He goes, I knew you were going to say that because that's a biggie with me. Not that I want to go to a game, but I can't even get a ticket to a game. So, and then Diamond told me, this is what my daughter told me. And this is what I like to know. I never heard of this. You can tell I don't use it. Okay, whoops. Diamond commented, a convenient fee is for the business to process the debit or credit card. The highest amount, the higher the amount you're paying, the higher the fee is normally. Normally it's like 10% of total cost, whatever you're paying. I'm like, it's all the same regardless. I don't get that processing debit card. When I use my debit card at Walmart, is there a fee for me to use that? Is that in that receipt somewhere? I don't know that. I don't pay attention. Yep. A lot of people are like, yep, greedy. Yep. Almost. I'm like, okay, $2 or $3 I could handle. But 3% of what my taxes are? Oh, hell no. It's cheaper on a gas tank to take it down there. which is matter blocks. If I wanted to, I told Scott if it was across town, or I would have did it myself on my bike, but it was too far, and I don't like going over where I would have to ride my bike. Traffic's crazy. There's a lot of road construction on a bicycle. The trail's not up, so I can noticed it when I was down there. I mean, Scott on a Harley. I'm like, why did the bike trails all got those things across them? They're doing them, repaving them or something, or putting cameras up, something like that. Alrighty, guys, but I'm glad this is working. And this was a babbling live. But yeah, the life and times of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Maybe I should make that as my channel. The life and times of living so close to Lambeau Field. This is today's topic. Tina bitching about living 4 blocks from Lambeau Field. Oh, and the garbage left on my street or my yard. I picked up 17 aluminum cans. This weird plastic bubble looking thing that looked like a top of a can. 3 of them. It had this on top, but the rest was plastic. I don't remember. I read I read it, and I'm wearing gloves. I don't pick that crap up with my hands. I picked up 3 of those. A lot of piddly ass garbage. Yeah, that's all in between my yard and my neighbors. What else was there? Oh, I found $1, so that was a plus. $1. I wish it was $100. That would have really been nice. Dirty diaper. That is the most disgusting thing, people. Why? Take your dirty diapers with you. Seriously? I couldn't get over that when I walked on Sunday. Yep. Dirty diaper. So I went out there, put gloves on, took a bag, and used the stick and put it in a Walmart bag and tied it up and threw it in my garbage. Disgusting, people. Leave your dirty diaper on my curb. Oh, I still, Scott, I knew I should have put a garbage can out. But you know what? I probably wouldn't have mattered anyways. People are disgusting. You want to drink that much? You leave your cans on the sidewalk? Then you don't believe. All I said to Scott is, can you imagine if they were drinking and tossed out all their cans, how drunk they were? But let's make sure we get the cans out of the car because we might get pulled over. Yeah, I guarantee it was the same person because it looked like in one spot. It's not like they were throwing here and there. They were all in one spot. But I don't know what the hell those other plastic funky things were. They were weird. Alrighty, I'm going to call it. So thank you guys for tuning in to Tina's Bitchin' Time. It's not been a good day. I'm not getting live, bitching about the draft and Packers. And y'all know I can't stand them if you come to my channel before. Because I think they all suck. Ouch. I call them the Green Bay dummies. Because I think this country, all the things in this country that we pay millions of dollars to watch a guy throw a football or kick one. It's just crazy to me. Or $700 for come on. $700 for concert tickets is crazy to me too. Wrong generation, I guess. Bye, everybody. Oh, I'm gonna have to put batteries in my mouse, or it's not liking it. There we go.